Welcome to Close Up Radio, where our hosts, Doug Llewellyn and Jim Masters, bring you the amazing stories of people who answered the call to unlock their potential and taken control of their own success with authenticity, creativity, persistence, and resilience. Close Up Radio special guests share their knowledge and wisdom so you, the listener, can live the most empowered life possible. Close Up Radio. And now, here's today's host, Jim Masters.
Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. It's always a pleasure when you can join us here on our award-winning series, Close Up Radio, which is a service of the Telly Award-winning Close Up Television and Radio. And we're very excited to welcome to our program as we continue with our series on the radio side of things, Part 2 with clinical sexologist Dr. Susie LeBrocq. She is in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and she's a top-notch clinical sexologist who has worked in the addiction treatment field for more than 20 years. She has a PhD in clinical sexology and is a master practitioner in clinical counseling and also the author of Ostomy 101, of a survival kit to sexual healing. Now, for the last couple of years, her focus has been helping women on their journey back to healthy sexuality through evidence-based tools, step-by-step strategies, therapeutic interventions, guided meditation, psychotherapeutic exercises, and her KINTSU method. Dr. Susie helps women develop a loving relationship with their physical bodies. Dr. Susie is currently offering the following online courses as well: Accepting My New Normal and Body Mastery, How to Master Your Ostomate Body. She has also opened up her schedule to the Golden Hour with DocLeBrocq, which is a bi-weekly live Q&A to get education, coaching, and support through her online community. She also wrote a book titled Ostomy 101, or Survival Kit to Sexual Healing, which we mentioned, and in it she candidly discusses who we are as sexual beings, not just from a sexual standpoint, but specifically for women, how they define themselves as women from a human standpoint. In the book, she teaches one how to authentically connect with your physical, spiritual, and emotional bodies, how to build and rebuild an enduring relationship with yourself, and also, ultimately, how to embrace life with an ostomy. It's an extraordinary, open, real, authentic, and inspiring conversation. We invite you to stay right there for the next 30 minutes. You will be empowered and inspired by Dr. Susie as she joins us for Part 2, live and direct from Canada, here on Close Up Radio. Dr. Susie, thank you very much for joining us once again. Love the fact we're doing a series with you here. It's important what we're talking about, and also inspiring for listeners as well. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, hi, Jim. Thank you so much. That was really quite an introduction. Thank you. I appreciate it. You make me sound great.
Oh, you are. You are. Your mother faxed that to me this morning, and she said, "Read it verbatim." It's all you.
I like it. That's cute. Thank you.
Right. It's all you, and that's what you do, and that's your story. You're relatable and affable and authentic, and you offer these extraordinary services, which I think is fantastic. I would love to sort of break that out for our audience in terms of the services that you provide. Tell us a little bit more in-depthly about the services that you provide, Dr. Susie.
Yeah, I'd love to, Jim. Thank you. So I guess my brick and mortar business, if you call it, is the individual, couples, family counseling that I do. When I'm not working with clients with ostomies, when I'm not doing this kind of work, I actually work as a sex therapist, and I also specialize in working with sex addiction. The big thing really that I'm here to talk about, though, is the online business, where I've been working with women who have experienced body betrayal, and they want to heal past their pain and essentially find personal renewal through inner transformation. So if you go to our website at www.DocLeBrocq.com/gold, you can become a part of my community, join my newsletter, and you'll be able to see some of the courses that I do. I also talk about my gold program, as well as the KINTSU method that maybe I could tell you a little bit about.
I'd love to hear that.
So the gold program actually it's kind of pretty cool. It's about repairing the art of the broken self with gold. So imagine a broken teacup, if you will. So you are somebody's favorite broken teacup. Of course, it's a little bit of an Englishism by, talking about a teacup, but think about, an old teacup that's been broken and it's cracked and chipped. It gets glued back together and, the bone china is stained. It's got, the cracks and the seams are stained with tea. Maybe you leak a little bit, but you're always the teacup that gets chosen. You're somebody's kind of favorite broken teacup. So I called the method that I use, the KINTSU method, and that comes from the Japanese art of mending broken pottery by sealing the shattered pieces back together with gold. Gold has been called a master healer. It's the highest healing mineral, if you like. So with my programs, I talk about the art of repair or the art of rejoining ourselves. And I use this as a metaphor for healing ourselves. And it teaches us a really important lesson that sometimes in the process of repairing things that have been broken, we create something that's way more unique. It's much more beautiful. And in fact, it's way more resilient. So my KINTSU method is about collecting all of the pieces that we as individuals make up, patching them back together, adding that little bit of gold into the mix that makes us unbreakable for the future. And so it really is about rebuilding your broken self, reframing your hardships, and reminding yourself that you're not a victim. You're a survivor, but more importantly, you can really learn to thrive when living with an ostomy.
You mentioned the KINTSU method. I'd love to delve into that because this might be something brand new for our listeners who are unfamiliar with it, but now they're intrigued that you sort of whet our appetite a little bit about the fact that you use this method. Let's delve in a little bit deeper and how you use the method and some of the benefits to your clients, to those who come to see you or whatever it may be over the phone, Skype, all the different Zoom, all the different ways of communicating now, how this method really can benefit those.
Mm-hmm. So, I use the term gold simply because it has been such a master healer, if you like. And if you think of gold, you think of G. So it's about guiding your belief that you're more beautiful for having been broken. So I teach people to really challenge their negative self-talk. I teach them to forgive and let go. I overcome or help people overcome their feelings of bodily betrayal after trauma. Bodily betrayal is something that I speak a lot about. And for me, in fact, after having 11 surgeries, I really felt like my body had betrayed me. And it took a lot of therapy, it took a lot of work to heal and to build this sense of self-acceptance and self-love and self-awareness. So it's about helping people overcome those feelings, liberating the endless possibilities of living with a stoma. I teach 10 steps to establishing an enduring relationship between your body and yourself. And I can demonstrate, and I love this, demonstrate that the distance between being a victim and a survivor and being a survivor and a thriver is not as far as people think. So it's about rewiring your brain and understanding the personal tools that we have for change.
That's right, exactly. You know, a lot of the answers to life's questions are within. Sometimes we just don't recognize them, or we block them out, or life just sort of gets in the way. What are some of the other tools and strategies that you incorporate, Dr. Susie, into the work that you do?
Well, I help people, as I say, develop an enduring relationship between their body and themselves. So it's things like practicing self-awareness, learning about self-acceptance, learning how to challenge negative self-talk, utilizing gratitude, learning about self-acceptance. Lots of very practical things that, you know, I'm not sure that we necessarily understand just how important they are. Understanding that life is a journey of growth. And as I say, developing a really good understanding of trauma and how the brain works when we've experienced trauma. Recognizing that if we have trauma in our lives, we can change and we can rewire our brain and we can harness that to make us so much stronger. I have 2 courses, in fact, that I provide online. The first course is Finding Normalcy, and it's about teaching women the difference between acceptance and coexistence. So truly learning to accept and live with your body betrayal and to learn with how your body has changed. And again, bodily mastery, the same kind of concept. It's an 8-part course where you go step by step through learning to master your physical self, your emotional and your spiritual self, and to thrive living with an ostomy.
It's really extraordinary that you've been so inspired to make this part of your life's work, and that you really want to inspire and empower people and help them heal in ways that go beyond just the physical. I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing. It really is critical for women to find this information and folks like you, and to also have a support group, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Jim, for me, when I started my medical journey 6-8 years ago, there really wasn't anything for women like me. There was lots of practical things. So when you wake up with a colostomy or an ileostomy, there was a lot of practical steps, but there weren't any emotional steps. I didn't know how I could access, support people that could help me and guide me through this process. And I would say probably my rock bottom was, you know, after waking up from a coma and having no idea how to live with this bag, live with my new body, live with my new sense of self. And so, you know, it was so important for me, once I'd gone through my healing journey, to put my suffering to somebody else's learning. So I've really used everything that I've been through as a way of building a community for people. And as I had mentioned, you know, in the newsletter that I send out each week, I provide, you know, free tips, tricks. I have little YouTube videos, and, you know, my community is about supporting other women that have been through something similar to my story.
See, what you just said right there is the golden ticket, because you can relate to your clients. It isn't where you just pick this field of study and, you know, you enjoy doing the work and that's that, and it's all textbook and clinical. You can actually relate to what they're going through on so many different levels, the emotional component, the overwhelm, the anger, the frustration, the confusion, the disappointment, the hope, all the different things that run through the scenario of the experience. And I think that's what is an advantage for your clients, is because you're so open and real and authentic about your own experience, and you share it so openly, which isn't always the case with everybody, that they feel an instant bond with you, a connection. You get them, you understand. And that is incredibly important, that sense of trust, and that you're listening, not judging. You understand because you've been there yourself.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's the biggest thing. I call it my superpower, but my superpower is my lived experience. I've walked the walk, as you say. I truly had no idea how to live, like this. And I talk about ostomates because that's my lived experience, but the same goes for women that perhaps have had breast cancer and mastectomies. The first time you stand and look at yourself in the mirror, how do you accept that everything has changed? Your physical sense of self has changed. How do you examine, sex and how you feel as a woman, and, how to connect with somebody when it's really difficult for you to connect with yourself? So my community is really about, connecting people, connecting women, bringing women together, and helping other women share their stories and learn from each other and learn from me. And I think that that's something that just wasn't available when I started this journey. So, I really encourage people to go to the website and to join my gold program, DocLeBrocq.com/gold, and become a part of the community and help others, help yourselves, help others, support me in getting this message out so that other women don't have to go through the struggle that, goodness me, that I went through. And I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not the only one that experienced body betrayal and trauma after my medical journey.
That's so beautifully said, and so important for people to do that. They can go to, there's a couple of different websites, but to learn more about the Gold program, you can go to www. And I'll spell it out for everybody, DOC, that's of course for Doc, DocLeBrocq. I'll say that again, DocLeBrocq.com/gold, GOLD. So DocLeBrocq.com/gold for that specific website. And then we'll tell you towards the latter part of the show other websites that are available as well. You've also written a book, which I mentioned in the introduction, and congratulations on that. That's not an easy feat to write a book and be a published author, but you are. Ostomy 101, or Survival Kit to Sexual Healing, where you candidly discuss a lot of incredible and important topics. Tell us about the book, and congratulations on it.
Thank you. It's funny, actually. One of my goals in life was to write a book, and I think maybe lots of people think it would be lovely to write a book. I didn't realize at any point that my book would be really about my story or my journey. And, it's funny because when I was in the hospital and I was in the intensive care unit, a friend said to me, "Oh, this will be great. Think about it, all positive. You can write your story." And I remember thinking, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But I was too close to it then. But I wrote my book initially as part of my PhD project, becoming a clinical sexologist. And the book is the book that it's a story of what I wish had been available for me in terms of how do you tell people that you have an ostomy if you're married? How do you how do you manage showing your new body to your partner if you're partnered? How do you have the confidence to show yourself and say, this is who I am. I don't know what works and what doesn't, but this is the new me. And if you're not partnered and you want to start dating, when's the right time to tell somebody that you have a colostomy bag? So that was a really huge part. But also the self-esteem, dealing with trauma, managing the guilt and shame. One of the things that was really difficult for me, and in fact in my research it's come up as a big topic, is that, children learn to be potty trained, and it's a really big thing to be able to, to manage going to the bathroom, for instance. When you have an ostomy, for instance, your most basic bodily functions have been reversed, and you don't have control over that anymore. And so how do you navigate something like that? So this book really talks about the kind of things that, I don't know, are kind of expected to be private. Sometimes we see them as being undignified, but they're practical steps, tips, and tricks for people that are living with this bodily disturbance. And for a lot of us, that it wasn't prepared. You weren't prepared for it. It wasn't planned. It was just something that happened.
Right. Exactly. It wasn't something that was part of the life script as well. I think also adding to your walk the walk, talk the talk is your already innate understanding of people, of the human condition. And you have, as mentioned, this extraordinary background as a psychotherapist, which I really feel does keenly add to the offerings that you offer your clients, because having that already established understanding of the human condition and what we all go through, and having that clinical training as well is extraordinary. How do you think that enhances the work that you do?
Jim, that's a lovely question. Thank you. I think I think it kind of helps me to deal with the emotional part of, for instance, my feelings, and knowing, as somebody that's lived through an ostomy, it helps me then present that in a way that is understandable for somebody else. So when I write my courses or when I do psychotherapy with people, I have an understanding of different methodologies, of different therapy techniques, different styles, for instance, EMDR and other forms of therapeutic techniques. I have this background that helps me to look at an emotion and turn it around and present it back to you as a client or as a patient in a way that perhaps you can understand from a brain concept versus just an emotional concept. So I think that I have that unique two parts, the patient that I've been, but also the educator and the therapist, and being able to use them both to build, I think, some really good courses and, the golden hour, some great coaching and opportunities to give people these tips, tricks, and little hints on how to live in a way that kind of, I think this makes life a little bit more simple.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. Exactly. It sort of breaks things down for people. You've also, would be remiss not to mention, too, that you've had the opportunity to work in the field of pornography and sex addiction for many years. And it really is of great importance and critical to help people with these kinds of addictions, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I think that certainly since COVID times and the internet, people not going out as much, people, being quite isolated, pornography addiction and sex addiction as intimacy disorders have become so much more front and center in our lives in the last couple of years. I've been working in the sex addiction field for about 12 years now, and I've seen incredible change in how people are getting themselves into trouble with, for instance, pornography. Whereas in times past, it wasn't as acceptable, it wasn't as affordable. Now it's just a part of everyday life.
Right, exactly. It is, and it just sort of is something that sometimes people don't even think about, but it is something that is of great importance to take care of, to work on, to work through the underlying reasons for it. How are you today? I would imagine our audience is wondering, well, how is, she's been so open and real sharing her story, how is Dr. Susie today herself?
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Dr. Susie's doing pretty well. I'm on the back of, a couple of surgeries this year, but I'm really well. I would say I'm really starting to thrive. I love what I do. I love the work that I'm doing for female ostomates. I love, the clients that I work with. And that fills up my broken teacup, if you like. I'm good. I feel healthy. I feel strong. And I feel so blessed to be able to come here today to talk about this work and to know that, slowly but surely a community is building for women like me who, have struggled so much in terms of how they feel about themselves and how they present to the world.
I want to make mention the websites again for our audience. If you want to know about the Gold program, there is a website dedicated to that, www.doc, that's D-O-C, that's L-E, Brock, BCQ.com / the word gold, G-O-L-D, gold. The second website is www.IamASexAddict.com. Third website available for you, www.newlifepsychology, that's newlifepsychology.ca. CA, of course, is for Canada. Those are available for you. Dr. Susie, a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you again for doing the work that you do. It really is in your DNA. It really reflects the essence of the type of person that you are. You've been doing it for a long time. You're highly skilled, highly educated, but with all of that, you're approachable, you're affable, and you're real. And I think those are the things that resonate with those that you have an opportunity to work with. Thanks for spending time with us here on Close Up Radio and sharing your story with this two-part series. Looking forward to learning more and celebrating more and expanding more with you as well, Dr. Susie. Thanks for spending time with me on the show. I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you today.
Thank you so much. I've loved it.
You are very welcome, Dr. Susie. Keep up the extraordinary work. Again, DocLeBrocq.com /gold or IamASexAddict.com and newlifepsychology.ca. Those are three websites there that are available. And the book, Ostomy 101, The Survival Kit to Sexual Healing, is also available. Jim Masters here thanking you for your time this time till next time. Stay right there. I'll be back momentarily with another fascinating guest from around the world on Close Up Radio. Till then, for all of us, have a terrific day. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.
You have been listening to a broadcast from Close Up Radio, a division of Close Up Television Incorporated. For more information about our show and to be considered for future broadcasts, please visit closeuptelevision.com. You may also learn about us on social media and listen to us on podcast and internet radio. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you have an empowered and productive day.